Hi, thank you for following the channel. I really appreciate it. And, it's more and more people, especially on Instagram, following. And now I try to build up the YouTube channel. Today, I want to talk about real talk, how it is to be an entrepreneur and how we started and what was the issues and the problems we had in the past. I prepared some bullet points. I'm going to read them and then answer how it is and how we experienced it. Like that's our experience. Your experience could be different, but let's jump into it. Why nobody talks about the hidden cost about success? Yeah, that's a good one. And there's really a hidden cost because if you get successful, there's huge problems. More success means you change your life. Everything is like changing and your friendships change and everything is like in a move. So the cost is not like how much money did I spend? It's what changed in my life. And the change wasn't easy. It was a hard way to go. And it's something you need to prepare yourself as far as you can. I mean, we started the self-employed part and then became entrepreneurs. Nobody teaches us. You don't learn it in school. It came and it was overwhelming, and in good ways and in bad ways. So money solves problems, but created new ones. Oh yes, oh yes, it does. If you with money you could solve your problem. So you're getting bigger as an entrepreneur. You could hire laborers. You could, buy more equipment to get better service, to increase your quality. But still, if you hire laborers, it's like you daddy them. In my case, daddy, my wife, she's like a mother, and employees, they have a little trick. They come to you and ask you, and you be the hero because you have the answer. You help them. Don't be the hero. Don't be a hero. If an employee comes, don't tell him what to do. Ask him, hey, what would you do to solve the problem? Because if you give them the answer, you train them to come to you again and again and again, the next time, the next time. So you don't work on your company, you don't develop your company, you train your employee who should solve the problem, because that's why you hire him, to stand in your office, ask for the solution, you give him the solution. You may feel like a superhero, but you build yourself a problem and spend money for it. So you shouldn't do that. How success changed your friendships? Oh, so I had a good friend, and now we talk again. And we didn't talk for like 10 years. So it was a really, really long time we didn't talk. But as soon as I started my journey as an entrepreneur, I started as a self-employed. You start your business. You be the CEO. You be a salesperson. You be the accountant. You try to handle every project. So that's the nature of a self-employed person. You be one person, but you do all the jobs. So I just talked a lot about my company and the new project, my new journeys. And he was like, I mean, that's 10 years ago, a little bit more. So like he was like, hey, you just talk about your company. And yes, I did. I really did. That brought a little scratch into the friendship. And we didn't talk for a while, and then tried to bring him into the business, and try to, hey, let's go. Let's, ride the wave with me. That's the journey we could do together. But he had other goals, and which is really awesome. And right now we talk, and I appreciate everything we could talk, but it shifted the friendship, yes. And even with friends, I still talk, and they're close to me, but your life change. Like you be in the plane a lot, you travel a lot, you may do different vacation, you book yourself on business or first, and yeah, everything changes. Like there's no more you could do together, which is not true because I try to invite them, but some of my friends, they say, no, if I can't pay for it, I don't do it. And I respect that. I really respect that. But that, gives us a little gap to what we do together and what not. We learn to handle with that, and we like it to go out, having dinner, barbecues, and everything is still awesome, but the friendship changes a little bit. Dealing with jealousy and criticism. Oh, I mean that's something with the friendships. Like you have friends, they talk about you, so they are normal my friends, so you could bet that. But there are many people, especially in Germany, like that's a culture of jelliness. It's like they try to talk it down. Guess what? I opened my company, we started, and I was like, hey, you could help and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. There was no much followers from Natasha's and my friends or friend zone. It was more people from outside, strangers followed our channel and they supported us and they did some comments and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a huge thing. And in Germany, we had some new cars, and we had big scratches in the car, which was because people are jealous, and that's the way it is. In the US, it's a little bit different. I need to say that. Um, I got criticized by people who never was self-employed, who never were entrepreneurs. And they came and tried to criticize how I do it, what I should change, and never took steps into to be an entrepreneur or a self-employed. So like, yeah, there are people out there trying to criticize what you're doing, but without any experience. So what I did, I didn't listen to them. I was like, oh yeah, really? Oh yeah, that's a nice perspective to see it, and turn around and be like, whatever. Why entrepreneurship can become lonely? Yeah, that's I mean, the friendship part. If you start making different vacations, just talk about your company, um, over watching every project or every new thing comes into your company. It's like a day has 24 hours. So and as an entrepreneur, you'd be like 12 to 16 hours in your company. So there's no much window, not time windows where I could be with my friends. So yeah, it could be some days really lonely. But you find other friends, you find other relationship you could connect with, you could talk with them, and they have the same interest. What doesn't mean you should cut everything and start a new life. No, your past is really important. So if you get successful, always think about your past. Don't try to jump into the bad things. If there are people out there that don't like you to be successful, you don't need to be with them. You could, I don't know, let them do whatever they want. The weight of responsibility. That's a good one. And it's a real weight because, you need to look, the projects needs to run. You need to train your laborers. You need to pay them. You need to pay the invoices. You need to pay for your offices. So everything comes on. Especially if you grow, it's like, hey, you need to take care about everything. If you be self-employed, like you be one person and do all of the things in a company, it could be a challenge. And you go to bed, you think about, oh, it's enough money there. Can I pay my employees? Can I pay the rent for the next day? Can I pay my stuff I needed for myself and personal life? So can I pay my mortgage? Can I pay everything which is necessary? So there's response coming up for your family, for your little daughter, for your employees, and for yourself. And everything you do is by yourself. You be the one who can change everything or could go bankrupt. So yeah, it's a huge thing, and don't underestimate it. If you go to bed, you go take a shower, every step of your day, you think about it to a certain point where you get more success. Learning to delegate without losing control. Yes. That was the step. So in my experience, I became self-employed, moved into or tried to become an entrepreneur. And that was a step I needed to learn a lot. Because as a self-employed, yeah, you do everything by yourself. And now you need to learn to give it up. Accounting needs to take care. HR needs to take care. Your employee and operation needs to take care. And you have the bird view. But that's not easy because you look into every ticket. Really, it was a time I looked into every ticket and was like, hey, you need to do it this way and this way and this way. And you need to understand that as an entrepreneur, you need to step out and the employee needs to do mistakes. It's not good for you, but it's good for the company because mistakes is become lesson learned parts. And that's really, really important in your company. So you need to build a system to try to get everything in lesson learned parts. And every lesson learned needs to be in handbook or a run book or a new process you're building. So yeah, was kind of a funny trip to change everything into to become an entrepreneur and don't lose control. Why more revenue often means more pressure. Yes, more revenue, that means you need to have the system done. If the system is not done, you need to build the system or to maintain the system. What I mean with system, HR, your accountant, everything which is necessary you need to build and maintain it to keep it going. So no more money comes in actually means you optimize your income or you have new clients. New clients means labor, building the system. Maybe you are doing an IT or software as a service part. So you need to build your databases. So yeah, there's more problems coming up. Right now we are on a transmission from we in a transfer from a company being an MSSP going into a software as a service company. So we built our own platform. We did everything which is necessary to go the next step. But that also means you lose laborers. You get new laborers because you don't need the support guy no more. You need someone who is be able to working on a software or develop software. You change everything, so the system needs to be changed as well and adapt to the new processes. And we had the problem, and we still have it. Like their counterpart needs to change. I had a friend called me like, "Hey, I didn't reach you in a few times or weeks." Yeah, because I'm building something. I changing everything. So my marketing manager is there and trying, hey, make the videos, show what you do. So everything is like new. And now you be there and you need to try to adapt everything, which is pretty hard. So yeah, growing means often problems, really big problems. Revenue is not the solution. It's you building a system for the new process, getting more revenue, having the opportunity to do more. That's the goal. But you will have the problems. It's in the nature. Um, oh yeah, that's a good one. The truth about luxury. So yes, you grow I mean, to be honest, you make more money. There's more luxury. You buy different stuff, watches and co. But in my opinion, it was like I learned how not to do it and how to do it in a better way. So if I take a ride with, let's say I take a ride with my fun car. In Germany, it was like, oh, shoo, I should hide everything. Nobody should see it. Like, jealous. There are many jealous people. Here in the US, it's like you could go with your car and you have different cars. You will have your daily car, you will have a fun car. You make different vocations, as I told before. So like, yeah, your life changes. Your neighborhood change. Everything is going different. And there's a story. I was with my fun car out and, on the traffic light, a young guy on my left turned down the window and I rolled my window down because he was trying to talk to me. And he asked me, hey, that's a nice car. What are you doing? And he's trying to get information like how he can do it to drive a fun car. And that's something pretty new for me. And it happened here in the US. So luxury in the US is not the same as it is in Germany. So your life gonna change. You will have better watches. You make way more better vacation. But as an entrepreneur, you also work a lot more. So you be on nice places, but you still work. That was a really good one, and that was a question from a good friend of mine. So I thought I'd bring it up here into this bullet points. How success change your priorities? I do not get up in the morning and think I need to go to work and I need to report to my boss and I, be for a company and try to do everything. I do it for my clients. I mean, my clients, they get a report, but from my labors, for my employees, for my apartment, or even automatically from the application. My priorities changes in like I'm watching more in my family, how to build wealth for my family for the next generations. So yeah, yeah, it's really an interesting one. It changes in like how I see it and how I need to take care about certain stuff. So yeah, right now it's more building the generation wealth. That's my high priority. Awesome. We figured out that together. Perfect. Yeah, so it's changing and I think it's keep changing. The reality behind social media entrepreneurship. Oh, there's my marketing manager. Hey, I tell you something. I hated to be in front of the camera, but I know I need to do it. I need to do it because that's the new world. Do I like it to share everything? Not at all. Do I start to appreciate it? I do. Because I think the goal is I can help other entrepreneurs to get successful. And I think that's something to see other people grow because of mistakes you made before, it's awesome. It's perfect. But I don't like it to be in front of the camera, and I don't like it to, be the star and some celebrity out there and, be acknowledged by everyone. My marketing manager says, hey, you do it well and you be authentic, and that's what people like. But every time I step in front of the camera, every time I need to take my phone and make a selfie and do a short video of here and there and there, it's like, now I'm getting used to it, but in the beginning it was like, wow, I would like to sit in front of my computer and, develop something. That's the new life. I need to take care about the social media stuff, and I need to, adapt myself to the new world. So yeah, here I am talking to you guys. Thank you, by the way. The mistakes I would never would do again. I would do all the mistakes, and even the one who brought me to situation in my life where I had no money and nothing and just believing in yourself, I would do everything as I did it before. I believe in it. If I wouldn't do it, I would land somewhere else. I wouldn't appreciate what I have. And yeah, there is no mistake I wouldn't do again. I would love to, step back and, don't have the sleepless nights and, always thinking about one thing, because it's a huge part you need to take care about. But I think everything what's happened, even in the worst part of my life, is a part that brought me here. And my mom, she's no more with us. And I sometimes think, if I could change it, would I? But if I would, I wouldn't do certain things in my life, meet my wife, and I would never had my beautiful daughter. So yeah, I don't answer what I answer to myself, but that's something, I really think about it, and be like, I love science. So what happens if everything you do has a result and stuff like that. So yeah, I would step into every mistake I did. That's my answer. The mental side to building a business. You need to think big. Don't think about, I'm open just one flower shop and be a good entrepreneur in my flower shop. I mean, if it's your goal, yeah, please do it. In the entrepreneur life, I would say, if you be in the flower shop part, that's my flower shop. That's the one I started with. And now I'm going to expand into different cities. So think big. Really think big. If you look into Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, think big. Really. This world can give you way more than you're thinking about. And there's a little advice I will give you. Stop thinking about it. Make the first step. That's the goal to be an entrepreneur. That's what every entrepreneur do out there. Taking the first step. That's what you need to do. That's pretty easy. Rest is coming. And you learn. If you watch these videos, you're gonna learn. You could read books. You could, make your experience. And that's the part where you get successful. If you're just thinking about it, guess what? Next year, you're going to think about the same and continue and continue. Make the first step. The last one. Oh, the biggest lesson. Oh, sorry. The biggest lesson I have learned on my journey. I would never change my path to make things quicker, bigger, or more easier. And that's something we discovered together. I wouldn't change anything. I would make the same mistakes. I would crash to the ground, losing everything, having a huge step, and building everything from the scratch. That's how you appreciate your life. My biggest learning in YouTube and social media is I would start maybe a little bit earlier to do this kind of videos. Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, that's my learning. So I wouldn't change nothing. I would really keep it like it is. Every mistake again. That's it. Yeah, and that's it for the video as well. I hope you liked it. I hope I could prod you a little bit about my journey. Please subscribe to the channel. Please also comment what is your journey? What is your experience? I'm looking for someone who's maybe interested into, be a guest at the videos, and we could talk about how he is or she is doing and what kind of business she's doing to figure out a little bit about entrepreneurship from different pages. Yeah, and that's all. What I need to say is see you next time.